Hello and welcome, or welcome back to everybody joining today. It is such a gorgeous late summer, almost early fall day. I guess we've had the equinox. We can officially call it autumn here. So, of course, all these messages are intended to be timeless. So go ahead whenever you're reaching this message, or it's reaching back for you, is the right time for you. Take a minute, set your energies, take in some of that sage smudge energetically. A few deep breaths. I will apologize in advance. We've got some road noise happening and it's unavoidable, but it's such a gorgeous day. I love to have as many of these broadcasts outdoors as can happen. We're going to start out with a few of the oracle decks for some themed messages. Then we'll move into the Sacred Geometry Oracle and the Return of Spirit deck here to round out the message. The preceding message was somewhat simple. I was having some in-depth thoughts early on today about the difference between false idols and prophets. So the prophet with the PH are the wise individuals who are speaking higher knowledge and wisdom, versus prophet of the FIT. Profit is more the material benefit. So I didn't go too far into those messages this morning, but then I did have quite a bit of distraction earlier. So we're not going to waste any time. We're going to go ahead and see what the messages are coming out. Let's start with the Mixed Kali Kuan Yin deck. Whoa, and the first one coming out immediately, Reveal the Peacock Beauty 24. So a very serene, reflective posture, playing the harp in the middle of plucking the strings. So there's something resonating with you that you're perhaps reflecting upon. Peacock Beauty is a card of really getting into your unique talents, your unique skill set, and honoring the things that set you apart from other individuals. Not to be separatist, but to honor one's unique soul blueprint, which is like the energetic signature of a fingerprint. Underneath the deck, Call of the Dancing Crane. Okay, so Call of the Dancing Crane here, covering that up, is about being sensual, alluring, magnetizing the things that are attracted to us. And it talks a bit in this situation between the two of these about attracting what you need by being unique and honoring who and what you are on the unique level. So it's like it's your calling card to be unique, to be who you are. So there's something unique about you, a talent, an idea, way of being, just your vibe in general. Maybe you stand apart from some of the individuals that are in your local environment or that you grew up with, or those that you have social context with, even on social media platforms. All right, from the Mixed Art of War and Tao Te Ching decks, we have two coming out, one from each deck. On the bottom, we have Argue with Respect. If both parties can remain respectful of one another during an argument, then the resolution will be something worth having. A serious argument can end in the destruction of a relationship, leaving devastation for both the defeated and the conqueror. An authentic victory is a victory over aggression, one that respects the enemy and renders further conflict unnecessary. I just saw 4:44 on the timer. I skipped yesterday's videos, and the day before I saw it on 2 out of 3 of the uploads, I believe. So here we're talking again at the beginning, prophet and false idol. There's something here about our ability to coexist with other individuals that have different ideas and different vibes. And so if we go to battle with each other, often arguing just, what's the saying? It just proves that there's two people that want to argue. There's a nuance to this saying. Fighting with an idiot is like, it's just proving there's two idiots, because you can't force your opinions or ideas onto another individual. So an authentic victory, a one worth having, is one where we don't become aggressive, one that respects them and their right to hold their own vibration and their own unique beauty, and saying that we'll agree to disagree, saying further conflict is not necessary, right? There's nothing here to talk about. So then on the other side of that deck, it says, listen, assess the mood, then talk when the time is right. So here's apparently the advice from Spirit on how to handle something if something is coming up. So if you have bad news to impart or a touchy situation to discuss, be aware of the mood of the person that you're trying to talk to. With practice and awareness, you should be able to gauge when somebody will be resistant to your ideas and when they'll be open to your point of view, and in that way happy to find a resolution. So maybe you need to do a little bit of what is it called? Touch points, where you kind of assess the mood, or, like walking into a situation blind. If we just say, hey, I've got the best news ever, blah, 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 blah. We don't know what the situation is we're walking into, but when we can walk in and say, hi, how are you today? Then that individual gives us a few clues. Their eye contact, their body language. Do they heavy sigh? Do they giggle? Do they smile? Do they seem tense? Are their eyes, their brow furrowed? There's all these nonverbals. So we're talking about communication. The next card here says communicate appropriately. When we have a message to impart, then there's different strategies we can employ to see whether they're going to be listening, whether they're going to tune us out, and so on. No matter what the person, or excuse me, no matter what the relationship is with the person that we're trying to speak with, or the message to the general audiences. Always use appropriate communication tools for different people and different environments. Appropriate communication with your spouse, kids, boss, or coworkers can deepen your connections to others, build greater trust and respect, and can improve teamwork, problem solving, and your overall social and emotional health. Absolutely. Let's talk about it in terms of health, right? Because when we're constantly in conflict or disagreement, or if we're filling our own private time, let's say with something that makes you feel good versus something that gets you all riled up about, let's say, um, some type of duality information. Let's talk about, like, politics is so easy. That's one of the common ones right now in the US, because we're going into these um, the time of the presidential election right now. And so it's like there are so many individuals holding different space or out there getting all riled up all the time, just waiting for the opportunity to strike somebody down. And that's happening to many of us out here. It's like you got to be careful how you talk, because then even if you can use one of the most innocent words, people will automatically assume a black and white assessment. You're either with us or against us mentality. And in order to not get stuck into one of those situations that's a lose-lose and no win, we definitely need to know the audience and so on. Different people, different environments. Sun Tzu said, in night fighting, then make much use of signal fires and drums. And in fighting by day, of flags and banners as a means of influencing the ears and eyes of your army. Interesting. So when people can't see or when vision is obscured, then signal fires and drums are more the subtle realms, where the day ones, the flags and the banners, are more so, just kind of passive ideas of, rallying support for a cause. So, yeah, those individuals that you're hoping to gather support, to gain buy in, to rally the troops, if you will, to keep influencing them and buoying their spirits while they're out in the trenches. We can employ different ideas, and maybe some of those are nonverbal, some of them might be um, music, and so on. And, some type of visual things versus astral things too. So, 57. If you want to be a great leader, you must learn to follow the Tao. Stop trying to control. Let go of fixed plans and concepts, and the world will govern itself. The more prohibitions you have, the less virtuous people will be. The more weapons you have, the less secure people will be. The more subsidies that you have, the less self reliant people will be. Therefore, the Master says, I let go of the law, and people become honest. I let go of economics, and people become prosperous. I let go of religion, and people become serene. I let go of all desire for the common good, and the good becomes common as grass. That's so beautiful, because so often we can hold on to our predispositions, our early conditioning, our programming, our unique perspective, our peacock beauty, and we can make our own set of laws and morals and ethics. And if we see other people out there not doing the things that we believe to be the way that you exhibit yourself as a caring individual, then the more that we see evidence that other people aren't doing it right. So we're talking a little bit more about this and making sure that we're not getting our judgments all skewed, because once you can, okay, clearly, how do I want to say this? Clearly, with politics, when we look at our own values, we can see that there's clearly some things that we do and don't stand for. But then when we pan out and get backed out of the situation specifics, then we can see that largely the institutional situations, such as politics, religion, organized um, religion, or schooling, any of these things, we can see that it's largely one entity, the left and the right side of one body. And so, whether we see one as gaining control and dominance, left handed and then right handed, ambidextrous overall, the entire system is witnessing how some people are more geared to their feminine, other people more geared to their masculine excuse me, aspects. And then within that, however wounded and secure we are, and how our ideas of what helps and what hinders each process, we can get lost in doing the right thing. And it can seem like others are on the side of the darkness, but honestly, we're being told to uh, fight with love. Is that, I mean, that's kind of saying it wrong. Not to fight with love, but to, I'm getting the fifth element. I get the fifth element quite a bit. If you've seen that older movie, I think it was made in the 90s. It was so awesome. Um, so the ultimate weapon is love, and the divine being is this female, and she is the perfect ultimate weapon against evil, and it's because of her heart, her innocence, and her capacity for all of these things. There's the road noise. Bear with me. So it's like the more that we can hone our love skills, yes, and feeling connected to the process and to the main body, the unified consciousness field, then the more that our situation is going to be connecting to all that is, to that great Tao, to follow the Tao without trying to control. It's about the flow state of feeling that belonging and offering others that belonging and the extension of unconditional love. Something about the identity as well. Here it says that the sacral chakra, the orange flower of life, supports our ability to flow with our desires and stimulates our creative power to manifest success and abundance in our lives. Under the deck with that, we have Gaia. Yes, that interconnectivity between all things material in essence. And I know that we are more than just the material. Let's see, a few more here. We'll get that one that flipped. Communication, no surprise, number 14. Communication, of course, verbal, nonverbal, any types of exchange of information, written, spoken, sung, hum, uh, the expression of dress, the colors we choose, the hairstyle, the way that our hair grows and the texture of our hair can sometimes, or the style that we choose, more so within our control than the actual hair. But all of these things are somewhat on purpose. And these messages, both what we send in words towards ourselves through our perceptions and the ones that we then broadcast out based on our behaviors and attitudes and personal self-expression and sense of identity and interconnectivity, is the lighthouse of our truth. And this helps exchange information on all of the astral realms as well, multidimensionally. And when those incoming and outgoing messages are communicated through each one of our individual natures, when it's able to pass through the heart, through the center of our truth, then we are staying within the flow of actually source energy consciousness, the Tao, and have that balanced energy exchange. Here comes more road noise. We're able to discern the messages and alter our own personal expression based on the reflection of the soul harmonics that we wish to express. So we have soul time. I think there's a new realization coming in with this. Maybe you and a loved one having somewhat of a semi-disagreement or holding different viewpoints. We've got tantric journey. I also think that in the moment, this is talking about our ability to hold space for differing ideas, different perspectives, different types of individuals and viewpoints and ways of being, and having this multiplicity kind of ebb flowing within us, that balanced exchange of information, touching off with both the masculine and feminine inner nature here. And that balanced exchange is this tantric journey. So I guess what I'm getting at there is it seems like we're talking a fair amount about a bit of cognitive dissonance where the heart and the mind are stretching, and perhaps they feel like they're stretching us in different ways, kind of like on that medieval torture device of the rack. Is that what it's called, where it's like spread eagle and it starts pulling people? I know that's a little bit gruesome. But I feel like energetically speaking, that can be what we're looking at here, is Spirit's really stretching our mental capacity to say, well, if all beings are part of this light and meaning the best, how can I resolve that with my own very entrenched ideas of what it means to be healthy, happy, evolved, and conscious and aware and loving? And I think that until we get to that point, we'll still see leaders and public figures and friends and family all immersed in the loggerhead of inner cognitive dissonance that then becomes spiraled outwards, excuse me, projected onto other beings in our world. And it's all about the algorithm that's being established. So both on our social media platforms and within our own alchemical makeup, we are creating an algorithm that vibrates with the resonance of law of attraction. Are we feeling grateful for the opportunity to stretch our mind, and are we allowing that mental aerobics exercise or mental martial arts to then settle into the heart space and help us to stretch our heart space to expand and to hold space for those who are in their own cycle and they need for their own habits and their own awareness and waking up and etc. Let's get a couple from this deck here. The Return to Spirit, 2 popping out immediately. We have Confidence and Union with music on the bottom. Music was on the bottom before I started as well. Yeah, unity consciousness and having confidence in that whatever is challenging our mental capacity to stretch and expand, having confidence that that everything's in the right order, that things are coming to pass, that everything is actually ultimately evidence of the symphony of life, this huge magnum opus where there's this beautiful musical score being under underwritten, undergone, and we've got this fighting over here, and then that word score, it's like when we're trying to win, and then we're ultimately, if we want to win, then somebody else would have to lose. But if we can meet in the middle, then it's not a game, it's not playing for superiority anymore, it's actual symbiotic union. And so in the harmonics, there's all types of octaves, there's all types of viewpoints, and in any good music, there's a little bit of complexity and perhaps even, dare I say, darkness or negative space. The space between the notes can be just as much of the suspense and the climactic building that comes in the ultimate end goal. It's about the pauses, the retractions, the speeding up and the slowing down, birthing. This has been coming up quite a bit this whole year, and it's coming over soul time, which shares a color palette with it, as well as sacral chakra in a row. There's something about our ability to creatively flow with things and to rebuild a healthier algorithm, a healthier heart-mind connection that helps us to not feel the urge to fight, but just helps us hit that divine flow state, gratitude, presence in the now moment, and reflecting upon in the moment how to do that whole deep breathe for 2 to 5 breaths and just say, let me think before I act, let me think before I speak, let me give the benefit of the doubt, but also stand firm in the ideas that I am portraying. And while I do so, the call of the dancing crane is how we are building the momentum and putting out our little questions to others to set the mood, set the tone, and then ultimately we're kind of moving and meandering across the the creation of our life, the creation of our algorithm, which begins to set up the broader score. Underneath now we have assistance. There's something coming into being here that we are helping to birth into our lives on a personal level, as well as on the greater level, on the collective. And it seems to me that unity consciousness, courage, and individuality is definitely part of that. So unity consciousness and individuality to some people seem like antithesis. Is that the right word? Where you're completely opposite ends of the spectrum, but I would argue that they are actually part of what creates the expansion of the unity consciousness, because as we are exploring ourselves, we are understanding that one size doesn't fit all, that certain things didn't give us what we thought, but we still had benefits, we still had liabilities to that, like, um, a piece of delicious food that's terrible for calories. If we had that in excess, it wouldn't be healthy. But, if we just try that little bit, we might say, oh, that's so rich. It's delicious to have 1 to 5 bites, but then I'm good for about a month or so, type of a thing. Then we know how other people can slip into that, well, it's not too rich for me. I could eat this every day. And so different thoughts become different behaviors, become different resonances, different physicality, different self expression, and different choices. And so, if we're going to birth the higher portal consciousness of unity and inclusion, we need to also celebrate individuality. And that starts, the precursor of that is self love, self acceptance, and self exploration. Coming out, we have up. Yes, that's, I think, what I just said, the leveling up of consciousness and humanity here. There's a shift, a leveling up here where your own ability to perceive something such as that is expanding. And with that, you are becoming, being gifted something, whether that's a new awareness. I feel like a new blessing is coming in with the expanded awareness. And so for many, it's going to be with the expanded heart dimension. Sometimes we got to tolerate the loud mouths out there, don't we? As you level up, I feel like the expansion of the heart is going to create the algorithm in the law of attraction with this dancing crane and peacock beauty that allows you to be even more attractive and appealing on the energetic level, more appealing to the blessings that you're calling in, more appealing to the things that you are manifesting for yourself. You're becoming in resonance with it in the harmonic soul, harmonic level. And there's this mating dance happening here with these cards. Intuitively, I think that you already know what's coming to you, whether it's a new job or a new adventure or a new romance. We have Violet Flame coming out. So there's something here, perhaps the way that you communicate and express your self-worth and your sense of courage and confidence here, the way that that's expressed through your vibe, through your posture, through your facial expressions, your voice, the timbre and the quality of your voice, your ability to laugh easily or to not fight when somebody has a different idea than you or shows up doing something or showing themselves in a way that you wouldn't. I think that we're transmuting our judgment in that way because we are starting to be less fearful of our own self-presentation and the possibility that others will judge us. Things are coming out into the open. So there's an intuitive hit here as far as what needs to happen, what needs to shift. Some of you may be contemplating uh, getting some type of makeover or like crazy hairdo or something, because that keeps coming through. Maybe even a violet hair color, some type of vibrant, colorful expression in some way. Others will be going more with the watery, and also with communication, whatever vibe you're trying to bring, you can use chromo color therapy for that too. Intuition remains on the bottom of the deck. And we've got rejuvenation and recognition. So recognition and rejuvenation. Something's making you feel younger. You are re-evaluating and redesigning, coming back, rebirthing self, bringing something front and center again, recognizing what it is that you need or that you're desiring in this change for yourself, and really utilizing some of that sacral solar plexus and throat chakra energies with the heart here. So those mid chakras to really get into the body and to express your own sensual individuality. So I think we've got plenty of cards, but I feel like I want to just get just a couple more to finish this up. We've got the Queen of Keys, so Queen of Pentacles looking out over the vista with a book. Anything else that wants to come forward? Balance, Seven of Forces, Seven of Wands. Blocking something out to rebalance your life, getting the right information, being careful and considerate and intentional with the information and algorithms that you're engaged in. Maybe taking a step away from things that are charged and meant to get you riled up, like clickbait and so on. We have Two of Keys coming out with the Three of Keys. That is interesting. And look at the imagery here, the chess game with this individual that looks like his apartment just got tossed or robbed or something. I feel like that's us getting back into control of a messy lifestyle and getting things back into control, being more strategic with our life and where we place our attention. So getting our own experience, expression, and environments in right order helps us to play the game more strategically and to not fight a day in our life while we're looking and more happy to find resolution. Loving elementals, Three of Roses with that watery energy. Yeah, there's something about the baby being in the flow with the divine essence of Mother Gaia. There is plenty to go around. It's an abundant universe. So if you want happiness and love, engage in happiness and love with your point of attraction. What are you taking in all day is what you're going to be feeding back out. So clean up your feed and put in it some love and seeds of unity consciousness. So that's all the time we have. Loving you so much, you guys. Take good care of yourself and check back for more messages and other recordings that are already uploaded. And until next